In a small town where everyone knows each other, one brave young boy made a decision that would change the life of a dog in desperate need of help. 5-year-old Ethan had always followed his mom's rules, staying close to home as she had taught him. But one day, his curiosity led him further than usual, and what he found would leave him, and everyone else, speechless. Ethan was playing with his toy rocket when it flew over a fence, leading him to an old, abandoned house at the end of his street. The eerie quiet of the place was suddenly broken by the faint sound of crying. It wasn't human. He followed the desperate whimpers, his heart pounding, until he found the source. A German shepherd, trapped between two crumbling concrete walls. Her eyes met his, full of fear and pain, and she cried out again. Ethan didn't hesitate for a second. Despite his small size, he promised the dog, "I'll help you." And with that, a bond was formed between the boy and the injured dog. A bond that would inspire acts of kindness no one could have predicted. This is the story of Ethan, the boy who saved a hero, and the dog who would change his life forever. It's a reminder that kindness can come from the most unlikely places. Welcome to Acts of Kindness Stories. Let's take a look at the incredible journey that followed. Ethan was a typical 5-year-old boy. Adventurous, curious, and full of energy. But he always followed his mom's rules. Jamie, his mother, had always made it clear that he should stay close to home, just in case something happened. It was a quiet, safe town, and there weren't many reasons for Ethan to wander too far. But one day, his toy rocket soared high and landed on the other side of the fence that bordered their modest yard. That small adventure would set off a chain of events no one could have predicted. He'd never been beyond this part of the street before. But that day, the rocket pulled him into an old neighborhood just a bit further down the road. As he moved further away from home, he heard something strange, a soft, almost desperate sound. His curiosity got the better of him. The crying seemed like it was coming from the side of a neglected, abandoned house. The peeling yellow paint, broken windows, and overgrown yard made it look like no one had lived there for years. Ethan felt a tug of concern, but he followed the sound, his small feet carrying him closer. The moment he peered around the corner of the building, he froze. There, wedged between two crumbling concrete walls, was a German shepherd. Her body was stuck, her fur matted with dirt, her eyes wide with fear and pain. Ethan could see the struggle in her gaze as she whimpered for help. It wasn't just the sound of a trapped animal. It was something else, something that made his heart ache. He could hear the dog's silent plea for help as if she were saying, "Please, someone save me." Ethan's chest tightened. He knew he couldn't leave her there. "It's okay," he whispered to the dog, though his voice trembled. "I'm going to help you." The dog's eyes locked with his, and for a moment, it was as if they understood each other. Despite the fear in her eyes, there was something else, something that told Ethan this dog wasn't just any stray. She was special. But there was no time to dwell on it. The dog was stuck. The walls were pressing in on her, and one wrong move could make it even worse. Ethan looked around frantically, but there was no one. No adults. No help. It was just him and the dog. Ethan didn't waste another second. He ran toward the front yard where he had spotted some broken wooden planks earlier. They weren't much, but they might just be enough to help the dog. He grabbed the thinnest one he could find and rushed back. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he carefully approached the trapped German shepherd, trying his best to comfort her. "I'm going to try something," he told her softly, as if she could understand every word. "Don't be scared." With careful movements, he slid the plank between the dog's body and the tight walls. She whimpered but didn't growl or snap. Ethan could feel her tension but also something else. It was as if the dog was trusting him, trusting that he was there to help her. His small hands worked the wood between the walls, pushing, sliding, adjusting, even though his arms ached with the effort. He refused to give up. His tiny body trembled with exertion, but he pressed on. He could hear the dog's labored breathing as she waited patiently for him to create enough space for her to move. Finally, after what seemed like forever, there was just enough room. Ethan could feel the shift, and with renewed strength, The German Shepherd pushed forward, her front paws scrabbling against the concrete as she pulled herself free. Ethan dropped the plank and moved to the end of the narrow passage. "Come on, girl," he called softly. "You can do it." With one final effort, the dog dragged herself to freedom, collapsing on the grass beside him, her sides heaving with exhaustion. Ethan dropped to his knees, his hands outstretched toward her, trembling. "You're safe now," he whispered. The dog raised her head weakly, and instead of fear or aggression, Ethan saw something in her eyes that left him breathless. Gratitude. She inched forward, her belly pressing against the grass, and gently licked his hand. The touch, soft and warm, sent a wave of emotion through Ethan's chest. Without thinking, he lowered himself to sit cross-legged beside her. She was covered in dirt, her body thin beneath the matted fur, but despite everything she had endured, she trusted him completely. There were cuts along her sides from the concrete walls, and her right front paw was swollen, but she didn't move away. She stayed close, as if she knew she was finally safe. "You need water," Ethan said suddenly, his thoughts shifting to practical matters. He remembered the half-empty water bottle in his backpack. He grabbed it and cupped his hands together, filling them with water. The dog drank eagerly, her rough tongue tickling his palms as she lapped it up. Ethan couldn't help but notice something around her neck, a collar mostly hidden by her thick fur. Curiosity piqued. He gently pushed the fur aside to reveal a worn leather collar with a metal tag. The tag was mostly scratched away, leaving only a few visible letters, S.A. and then something that looked like no. "Is your name Sono?" Ethan asked, the name falling off his lips without thinking. The dog's ears perked up slightly, but she seemed more interested in drinking the water. After finishing, she tried to stand, but her paw clearly pained her. Despite the injury, she stayed close to Ethan, leaning against him as if she trusted him completely. "You need a doctor," Ethan said with determination. "But first, we need to get you home." He glanced at the sky. The afternoon shadows were getting longer, and he knew his mom, Jamie, would be checking on him soon. She had always been so strict about his boundaries, and he was far beyond the line he was supposed to stay within. But Ethan couldn't leave this dog behind. She needed him. "Can you walk?" he asked, his voice gentle yet encouraging. The German Shepherd took a few hesitant steps, limping heavily on her injured paw. Ethan's heart soared at the sight. Despite the pain, she was moving forward. "That's it, good girl," he said softly. "My house isn't too far." Together, the small boy and the injured dog began their slow journey back, one step at a time. Ethan paused frequently, letting the dog rest whenever she needed it, offering a hand of comfort on her back. As they neared his house, Ethan felt a pang of worry. What would his mom say? Jamie worked long hours as a nurse, and though she was kind, she was always stressed, always tired. A dog, especially one that was injured, was not part of their carefully budgeted life. Yet, there was no question in Ethan's mind. This dog needed him, and he couldn't turn his back now. The German Shepherd seemed to sense Ethan's hesitation. She stopped and looked up at him, her amber eyes filled with understanding. It was as if she was reassuring him, telling him it was okay. "Don't worry," Ethan whispered. "You can stay in my treehouse until you're better. Mom won't even know." Ethan had built the treehouse with his mom the summer before. It was small, just a platform with a roof and walls, but it was his special place, his sanctuary. The perfect hideaway for a dog in need. They snuck through the side gate into the backyard, relieved to find that Jamie's car wasn't in the driveway yet. Ethan and the dog had made it home before she returned from her shift. Ethan knew the dog couldn't climb the ladder into the treehouse. He could barely walk. So, he ran to the garage and found an old red wagon, its wheels squeaking slightly as he rolled it out. It wasn't much, but it would do. He gathered as many blankets and pillows as he could find and made a soft nest in the wagon. "This will be your bed for now," he told the dog, patting the blankets. "But we need to get you up there." The dog eyed the wagon warily but allowed Ethan to help her into it. It took all his strength, but eventually, the German Shepherd was settled in. With the rope tied to the handle, Ethan explained, "I'm going to pull you up." It wasn't easy. Ethan's small arms strained as he worked the pulley system his mom had installed for lifting supplies to the treehouse. Inch by inch, the wagon rose, the German Shepherd remaining still, trusting him completely. When they finally reached the treehouse platform, Ethan carefully helped the dog out of the wagon. She was exhausted, but she was free. She curled up on the blankets, her body still trembling from the ordeal. "You're safe now," Ethan whispered, sitting beside her. He gently stroked her matted fur, a sense of relief washing over him. As the dog rested, Ethan couldn't help but feel that there was more to her story. She wasn't just a stray. There was something special about her. A history, a mission, a past that was now intertwined with his. And he was going to make sure she was okay. The bond between Ethan and the German Shepherd, now named Shadow, grew stronger with each passing day. As the days passed, Shadow settled into her new life with Ethan and his mom. Her injured paw healed with the care and love that Ethan provided, and she began to trust again, not just in him, but in the world around her. The once fearful dog that had been trapped between two walls now had a purpose. She was no longer just a soldier on a mission. She had become part of a family, a companion who would protect them with every ounce of her strength. Ethan's bond with Shadow grew deeper, stronger. Together, they learned to live a life that wasn't about danger or fear but love, safety, and loyalty. Jamie, too, grew fond of Shadow, even though at first, she had been unsure of keeping a military dog in their small home. But seeing the way Shadow looked after Ethan, how she kept him safe, and how much they needed each other, Jamie couldn't help but embrace the change. One day, while they were playing outside, Shadow dropped the ball at Ethan's feet, looking up at him with a spark of joy in her eyes. Ethan laughed, throwing the ball again, and in that moment, everything seemed perfect. Shadow had found her forever home, and Ethan had found his hero. This story is a powerful reminder of the impact of kindness. One boy, driven by compassion, saved a life and in return, received a friend who would never leave his side. It teaches us that even the smallest acts of kindness can change everything. If you believe in the power of kindness, if you believe that one small act can make a world of difference, then join us here at Acts of Kindness Stories. Like, share, and comment to let us know what you think. Together, let's reach 10,000 subscribers and continue spreading these powerful messages of hope, compassion, and bravery. Don't forget to subscribe and be a part of something bigger. Thank you for watching, and remember, kindness can change the world.